In a world flooded with screens, endless scrolling, and constant distraction, it seemed almost impossible that a modern teenager could one day become a saint. But that is exactly what happened. His name was Carlo Acutis. Born on May 3, 1991, in London, England, Carlo entered the world quietly. His parents, Andrea Acutis and Antonia Salzano, were Italian, and shortly after his birth, the family moved back to Milan. At first, nothing about Carlo's life appeared extraordinary. He was not born into a deeply religious family. In fact, his mother would later admit that before Carlo, she rarely attended church at all. But something about the young boy felt different almost immediately. While most children were obsessed with cartoons and toys, Carlo became fascinated by prayer, churches, and the lives of saints. At just 7 years old, after receiving his first communion, he began attending Mass every single day. To Carlo, the Eucharist was not simply tradition, it was everything. He once called it the highway to heaven. As he grew older, his devotion only deepened. He constantly asked to visit churches, monasteries, and holy sites across Italy. But despite his intense spirituality, Carlo was never disconnected from ordinary life. He was still a teenager. He loved soccer, he loved animals, and like millions of kids growing up in the early 2000s, he loved computers and video games. But Carlo saw technology differently from everyone else. While the internet was becoming a place of distraction and endless entertainment, Carlo believed it could also become a tool for goodness. Completely self-taught, he learned computer programming, web design, and graphic design at an astonishingly young age. Adults were often stunned by what he could create. Yet even with his talent, Carlo remained disciplined. He limited himself to only 1 hour of video games per week as a form of self-control. He even kept a personal journal where he graded his own behavior, marking good and bad actions each day, constantly trying to improve himself. But what truly made Carlo unforgettable was not his intelligence. It was his kindness. At school, he defended students who were bullied or isolated. He quietly gave food, money, and sleeping bags to homeless people near his church. He spent time helping the elderly, the disabled, and struggling refugees living in his community. And he never did it for attention. Many people around him began noticing something unusual about the teenager. He carried himself with a calmness, humility, and compassion far beyond his age. Even his own parents were transformed by him. Inspired by Carlo's faith, his mother eventually returned seriously to the church and even began studying theology so she could answer her son's endless questions about God. Then, at just 11 years old, Carlo started the project that would eventually make him famous around the world. He became fascinated by Eucharistic miracles, mysterious events throughout history that believers saw as signs of Christ's presence in the Eucharist. But Carlo noticed something that troubled him deeply. Crowds would wait for hours outside concerts, football matches, and celebrity events, but churches often sat nearly empty. He once said, "There are queues in front of concerts and football matches, but I do not see these queues in front of the Blessed Sacrament." So Carlo decided to use the internet to change that. Using his computer skills, he created a massive website documenting Eucharistic miracles from around the world. The project became enormous. He researched more than 150 miracles spanning different countries and centuries, organizing them into nearly 20 languages. The site included photographs, historical records, maps, and virtual exhibits. and it spread rapidly. Churches, schools, and religious communities across the world began using Carlo's work as a teaching tool. At a time when many feared technology was pulling people away from faith, Carlo became proof that it could also bring people closer to it. Years later, he would become known as the patron saint of the internet. But Carlo's story was about to take a devastating turn. In October of 2006, when he was only 15 years old, he suddenly became sick. At first, it seemed like a normal flu, but his condition deteriorated with terrifying speed. Doctors soon delivered devastating news. Carlo had acute myeloid leukemia, an aggressive form of blood cancer. Within days, his body weakened dramatically. Yet even in immense pain, Carlo remained calm. Instead of complaining, he reportedly offered his suffering for the Church and for Pope Benedict XVI. Soon after being transferred to a hospital in Monza, Italy, he suffered a cerebral hemorrhage and fell into a coma. On October 12, 2006, Carlo Acutis died. He was only 15 years old, but what happened next shocked everyone around him. At Carlo's funeral, the church overflowed with people. Not celebrities, not politicians, ordinary people, homeless individuals, struggling families, elderly neighbors, and countless others whose lives Carlo had quietly touched during his short life. Even after death, his influence only continued growing. According to his wishes, his body was later moved to Assisi, the hometown of Saint Francis, whom Carlo deeply admired. Then reports of miracles connected to Carlo began emerging. One involved a Brazilian boy suffering from a severe pancreatic disorder who reportedly recovered after prayers asking for Carlo's intercession. Another involved a young woman from Costa Rica who survived a catastrophic bicycle accident after her mother prayed at Carlo's tomb. The Catholic Church officially recognized these miracles. In 2020, Pope Francis declared Carlo blessed. And on September 7, 2025, Pope Leo XIV officially canonized him as a saint. Carlo Acutis became the first millennial saint in history, a teenager who played video games, a programmer, a boy who lived in the age of smartphones, social media, and the internet, and used those same tools to inspire millions toward faith, compassion, and hope. His story became proof that holiness was not locked away in ancient history. Even in the digital age, a young person with kindness, discipline, and belief could still change the world. If this story hit you, click like, comment, and follow us for more.